$1,000,000 Round Table Club. I don't know whether you're familiar with this term. Well, that's the organization connected with insurance. Only the best insurance agents in the world can become a member of the MDRT. And if they do a lot of business, they will be invited to speak or participate in that meeting. That takes place in America sometimes like that. Sometimes in some European countries like that. Usually in America. Well, the best of the lot, or we can say the creamy layer of insurance marketing assembled in the club for that meeting. Among them, there was an insurance agent. He was from Italy. He was invited to speak in that club, but he refused to speak. He was totally afraid to face a crowd. At last, the organizing committee used all their pressure tactics, and finally he came to the stage. Everyone was clapping hands because he has been attending that MDRT for a long time. He was the best insurance agent in Italy. Number one for 5 or 6 years. But he was afraid to speak. He was afraid to speak on the stage. He was not ready to address thousands of people. Sometimes we call it stage fear, isn't it? But there was another reason for this. He was deaf, totally deaf. Just imagine an insurance agent coming and talking to you, and he's deaf. He can't hear anything that you say. That's really a very pitiful situation. He was asked a question. What is the secret of your success? He didn't speak for some time because he was afraid to speak. He took the paper, went through it, and then faced the club and said, I think there is only one reason for my success. I was a very unsuccessful insurance agent in the beginning. I was a real failure. I did a lot of business, and at last I found myself misfit in all this, and finally came to this insurance marketing. I came because I could be a member of the team without paying money. I was taken in as an agent by insurance company, seeing my poverty. I was very, very poor at that time. Even I didn't have social securities, nothing. So I had to work hard to have daily food. And I didn't have a house and all that. So I was in a mess. Then I started doing business. But it was not a lucrative work. It didn't pay much. I found it very difficult to make the both ends meet. Because I was doing small insurance policies. I was doing a $1,000 insurance, $1,500 insurance, $2,000 insurance. That was the maximum I could do. $2,000 insurance. What is that? What's the use? People give it because here comes a person and he's a deaf person. Okay, I will do a thing. I will join for a life insurance scheme. Out of pity, then he suddenly had an idea in a dream. In a dream, a person came to him whom he considers as the angel of his family and said, son, you are doing a very, very foolish job. Then he said, yes, I also think like that. I would like to change. Then he said, no, your attitude is wrong. Then the agent, what's wrong with my attitude? You are giving insurance policies worth $1,000, $2,000. It's pity. And the man said, of course, I would like to do much better business. Say $10,000 business. Angel smiled and said, then why don't you do it? Then he said, it's very difficult. Then the agent said, it's not difficult to put 1 0 on the right side Put 1 zero more to this 1000, it becomes 10,000. Then put 1 zero more to 1 lakh. Then more like that. So my son put 1 cipher, 1 zero more on the right side. There's no meaning in putting zeros on the left side. If you put a zero on the left side of 1000, it doesn't mean anything. Just put 1 zero more on the right side of 1, you get 10. Right side of 10, you get 100. Right side of 100, you get 1000. Okay? Start putting zeros on the right side. 10,000, 1 lakh, 1 million, like that. The angel disappeared in the dream. Then he was contemplating on this idea for a few days, and he said one day to himself, well, now I will give only insurance policies worth 10,000 rupees. And he worked very hard. In the end of the month, he understood one thing. The same number of policies he has given, he started picking up. Then he did it again, did the magic trick again. He put 1 more zero on the right side, and then it became $1 lakh business. In the end of the year, he found that he had done the same number of business. The man smiled at the $1 Million Roundtable Club and said, my friends, this is the secret. Go on putting zeros on the right side of life. Yes. If you want to become a millionaire, start placing these zeros on the right side of life, not on the wrong side. See, this means you have to consider yourself as a very, very successful businessman and believe that you can do business worth $1 million. That's how you create yourself. That's how you mold yourself. That's how you can become a millionaire. Think of big business. Don't do this small business. You just consider yourself as a person who is absolutely capable of doing big business. Suppose you are a real estate agent. You are selling plots or houses worth 10 lakhs. That's cheap. And you are getting only small percentage of as commission. Think of it. 100 crore business. You are selling a land. You are dealing with that. Think of it. Dream of it. Visualize it. Just sit in your office and start visualizing. A great customer is coming and he wants to sell a plot. That's a very lucrative offer. You take that, work very hard, find another customer who can buy it, and now you're coming out of the office where they get it registered with lakhs and lakhs in your suitcase. Think, visualize every day. Every day you sit in the chair and visualize great business. When you continuously visualize without any negative feeling, that becomes truth. That precipitates from the nature. When you think constantly of something positively with absolute strength, then that will precipitate in the nature. That's the truth of life. So, start putting zeros on the right side of your business. If you have 50,000 rupees per month now, put 1 more zero. This month you are going to get 5 lakh rupees. Next month, make the target big. Put a zero on the right side again. You're going to 50 lakhs. Like that. So, if you want to become a real millionaire, here is the key. Put zeros on the right side of life.